Welcome to Paper Cup Crafts. First, before I start my card, I wanted to show you how to put together a new cling stamp set. So they come in these pads, and then they have the image sticker separate. It's really easy to do, but I've never made a video explaining how to do that, so I figured since I had a new set, I would go ahead and do that. We used to have to cut them with scissors into the shapes that we needed and trim them down and attach them to wood blocks. But now with these cling stamps, they're really easy, but they do need a little explaining. So you just pop them out of the backing, and then you have a sheet with the sticker of the image that you will put on the other side. A little slit in each backing, and you just have to pop that up and grab a hold of it and peel it off, and then this will show your image. And this is sticky, and this is what's going to stick onto your image. Now most images have a shape that you can just kind of follow, but there are ones that have a uniform shape all the way around. So you just have to take a note of your image and look at it and see if there's any defining marks or anything on it. This one had little dots on one petal, and I was able to line that up with the image of the little backing here. So I was able to figure out where to put it. Sometimes word images can be a little difficult. Well, not difficult, but they can be tricky because they might have the same shape all the way around. So you have to pay attention to how you're laying it down, because it can be easy to make them upside down by accident. So just watch that. So now on to the card. I am using the Fable Friends stamp set as well as the Well-Dressed Sale-a-bration stamp set. This is only available in Sale-a-bration until the end of March. I also have my Whisper White, just some scrap pieces that I can cut out of. I've used a 3D embossing folder to create this background, as well as the rectangle dies on the So Saffron and Mint Macaron cardstock for the base. I went ahead and already cut this piece out. I'm just pulling it out of the dies, just punching out and pulling it out. I don't need the excess outside piece or the inside. I'm just trying to create a frame, like a little picture frame that I am going to use as my main piece of the card. I am using snail to adhere this to the card. Just putting it on in a couple big strips and just stick it on center. Once that's all down, I am going to use some Whisper White cardstock. This is what I'm using to do my center with, and here I'm just measuring to make sure I have the right amount. This is the background of my frame, so I don't want it sticking out past the frame. This is not a Stampin' Up! Trimmer. We do have a really nice trimmer. This one I just had since before I started with demonstrating, and I just still use it. So I'm just lining this up, and I'm just going to attach it right away with some snail. Snail is really nice because you can manipulate it. So if it goes over the edge, you can just rub it off a little bit. If it sticks somewhere that you don't want, like on my scrap paper on the bottom here, you can just kind of rub it off with your finger real easy. I am using the little rabbit from the Fable Friends set and stamping him in Memento black ink. I'm just going to stamp him a little bit to the bottom so that I have room for the top, because I plan on giving him a little hat. He doesn't come with a hat, but I am giving him a hat. So just a nice firm press, and he is down nice and neat. Then I'm going to move on to stamping the hat and a shoe. This is from the Well Dressed stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp that onto a scrap piece of paper so that I can go ahead and cut them out. They do not have dies, but I do want to have them cut out. We're going to move on to the coloring, and I'm going to work with the little bunny here first. First I'm going to use a journaling pen. I'm going to add a little bit of ground to him so he looks like he's actually standing on something, as well as a little bit of a shadow, because standing you generally have a shadow. So I'm just going to color that in just with the journaling pen. Just give him a little downward shadow on the bottom here. And then I'm going to move on to coloring him with the blends markers. When I color with the blends, I like to use the light color first, and I do all my base coloring with this. Then I move on to the darker color, and I use this for the highlights and shadows. And then I'll use the light color again to blend it all in. Sometimes I'll recolor the whole thing, and sometimes I'll just color certain spots. And now for the little hat. So I want the hat to look like it's sitting up on his head, but I don't want to put a full dimensional behind it. So my second upline showed us a little trick with using the glue dots. If you take 2 glue dots, you get a nice little dimension look to it, but it's not a full lift as the mini dimensionals give you. So this is the little bit that I'm using right now. So I'm doubling up the glue dots and I'm using them on the back of the hat. And then I'm going to stick that on top of my little bunny's head to give him his hat. And then it also gives him a little bit of a pop off the card itself for that dimensional look. When I put his hat on, I realized that the black stamped part of it didn't quite look as dark as I wanted it to, so I'm just highlighting that with the black marker. And I will do it again with the shoe as well. The shoe I'm just adding with some snail, and I will add a dimensional behind that once I put everything onto the main card. To attach this frame and picture, I'm using the dimensionals and stick it right onto the back of the main piece. And then I'll also put a mini dimensional onto the edge of the shoe that is sticking out. And I'm going to offset it on the front of the card to kind of make it look like it's maybe leaning over just a little bit, give it some attitude. And here's my finished card. I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Happy stamping!